Hello, happy people, and welcome to your Moment of Zed, the YouTube channel dedicated to the most beautiful car in the world, the BMW Z3, or as the folks in Swansea, Wales call it, the Z3. I'm Mark, and today we have a similar problem as we had a couple of months ago. Maybe you remember I did a video about changing the side badges, and I had a little problem where I kind of scratched up the gills. Today, I have the problem again. I made another trip to Ohio, and something about that state makes my car shed things, delaminate, and I've got the same problem again. I've got a delaminated side badge, this time on the driver's side, and I'm going to use some of the tips that you viewers sent me to get this badge off without scratching up the gill plate, which is plastic, very soft plastic actually. So I'm going to use your suggestions, and I'm going to try and do this without messing up the car this time. So that's what we're doing. But before that, we have two Zeds of the week.
And first up, we have Robin, way out there from the Netherlands, who fell in love with Z3s from the movie GoldenEye, as many of us did. A few years ago, he had the opportunity to finally pick up the Z3 he craved. This sweet blue 2000 1.9 liter 5-speed roadster with 65,000 miles. It is fully original down to the radio with cassette deck, and that's very important to Robin. The only issue he has with it is the airbag light is on. Don't worry, Robin. Sometime, hopefully soon, I will be doing a video about just that. Next up is Tony from Connecticut with his 2001 3-liter 5-speed roadster that he bought 10 years ago. With 60,000 miles, it now has 91,000 miles. What really sold him was the color, pistachio green metallic. He fell in love with it at a dealer in Maryland who had the car. And as I mentioned to him, I've only seen one of these out in the real world, and that was at Z-Fest. I think we had one a long time ago on Zed of the Week. That one was in England, but there aren't too many of them out there. The only mods he's done is spider headlights. He put in a new water pump and new belts. He has ordered the seat bushings and is looking forward to following my video to go ahead and install them.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sending in your beautiful cars. If you'd like your Z3 featured on Zed of the Week, please follow the instructions in the description. We'd love to see it. Okay, so on to the badge again. Okay, so if you remember from last time, the side badges are held on with a piece of round double-sided padded tape that really doesn't want to release. So kind of the key to this is getting something underneath the badge to puncture or shred that padded double-sided tape, and then this will just release, because otherwise it's held in by two pins that just center it. They're not mechanically attached to the side gills. Now, a few people have suggested that I go ahead and just remove this, and it's just held in by a couple clips. I could do that, and then you can manipulate it a little bit easier. I'm going to try leaving it on. I'm not saying that's a bad technique by any means, but I'm going to try leaving it on and use a couple different materials to try and get up under this badge, again, without scratching the gills. Now, I've protected the gills again with painter's tape. That didn't work out great last time, but again, I'm not going to go at this badge with anything metal. Another thing I may have to do is I may have to drill into the center of this badge to give me some leverage to pull out this way. And again, that's where maybe taking the side gills off is an advantage, because you could actually push those pins from behind to get it out. But either way, you're going to have to break this seal with something. I think it would be very difficult, even with the side badge out, just to physically push the badge away from the side gill, because that double-sided tape has some serious adhesion even after 20-something years. Okay, so the first technique we're going to try, and this was suggested by my viewer Jack, thank you Jack, is to take a piece of plastic strapping. This is a plastic strap that you would see around a box. This particular one came from the Home Depot. Thank you, Home Depot, where I found it on the floor of the tile section. So I've got about a 1 foot section of this. I put kind of a point on it, and now Jack didn't mention which way he worked this through, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here on the bottom of the badge. And the idea, of course, is to kind of work it in, and that is going to break the seal of the double-sided tape. And the idea, of course, is to eventually work your way all the way through, past the pins, back up the other side, and then have two sides of this strap available to just pull the badge off, so you have some leverage from behind. And the reality of it is that I can feel that the strap is feeding its way up into the badge, and as you pull it out, I can feel that this pointy part is sticky. So we're definitely getting into that double-sided tape, and also it doesn't look like we're doing any damage to the gills. So I'm going to keep working that up, and we're going to see how well that works. And I will save you the trouble of you watching me struggle, and I will show you once I get it all the way through, if I can. Okay, so I've had some success. I've got the plastic strap definitely past this part of that double-sided tape and into the middle of the badge, and I've kind of run out of leverage. So if we could take a look at how much of the strap I got into the badge, actually a pretty significant amount, probably about 2.5 inches. So what I think I'm going to have to do is maybe go directly opposite and go from the top down, and then hopefully I can thread it through, and then we can pull it like this. I also want to show another technique before I use this to remove it, because I think this is going to work. And I think even more so, once this plastic strap is, imagine it's behind the badge, I can start twisting it like this and break most of that seal and then pull it out like this. So I think this is going to be a pretty good technique. And if you take a look at where I went in to the badge, you can see that there's kind of hard to see. And I'm starting to lose my good light here because the sun's coming up behind my back, but you can take a look and see that I haven't done any damage to where I was putting the strap in. So far I'm pretty happy with this technique, and we're going to keep working it the other way. I think what I'm going to do is, now that this is all bent, I'm going to go ahead and cut a point onto this edge and then go at it from the top. There's also another technique I want to show. I had a suggestion from Never Rollin' Stock, my viewer, about using fishing line to get back in here and, again, do the same thing, cut that double-sided tape. I'm having a little trouble locating my fishing line. I know I have a roll here somewhere, so I'm going to find that, because I definitely want to give you a couple options on how to do this, again, without damaging the gills on your Z3. So we're having a little bit more trouble getting through the top than we did the bottom with that strap. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the old hair dryer, like I showed in the last video, to try and soften that up a little bit, and then we're going to keep working on it. Okay, so here's where I'm at. using the hair dryer, I softened up the top enough to go take the strap through the top all the way towards the bottom, and then I took the strap out and reinserted from the bottom, moved it around back and forth to kind of open up some space, and what I got was the pointy end that I cut came out the top, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab this with needle nose pliers, and hopefully that'll be enough purchase. Again, I'm not putting any stress on the actual plastic. I'm just going to try and push and pull this up and through, because it's kind of got to curve around the back of the badge. Again, I'm not prying against the plastic, and if I can't pull it through, that's okay too. I can keep working it back and forth. Eventually what I want to do is I want to get enough of the strap on this end to kind of pull it around, break the rest of the seal, and then just use that as leverage to pull it off. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and try the other technique that my viewer Never Rollin' Stock sent, which was using fishing line. So for the fishing line technique, I'm using this fishing line loaned to me by my outdoorsy next door neighbor Nathan. Thank you very much. This is 30-pound test braided line, so it's about the same thickness as 10-pound test monofilament line, and all I have it is looped around the back of the badge, and I've kind of been working it back and forth already, and it seems to have cut through quite a bit of the badge. I'm just putting a little downward pressure on it. You kind of got to be careful, because even this is pretty strong fishing line, but it will break rather easily. I found one thing I did before, as I broke some, is I kind of rigged it to 2 wrenches, so I had handles to work it back and forth like this. But I think on the top, I've gotten to the point where I think I'm already actually down to, or pretty close to, the 2 pins. I think this line is almost straight across. I think I've cut through most of it. So I'm going to take it out, and as you can see, it's quite deep in there. And I'm going to go ahead and come up from the bottom, put handles on it, and work it up. Hopefully that'll loosen up the rest of it, and we can pull this badge off. Okay, so again, I've got the fishing line over the top, and I've rigged the handles onto it, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of slide it around so the fishing line is on the bottom, and a little bit awkward, but as I keep bringing the fishing line around, now we've got it up under the bottom, and then I'm just going to work it back and forth, put some gentle upward pressure, and I can feel it digging into the adhesive, that double-sided tape, and I'm just going to keep working it back and forth. Now it's kind of hard to tell, but we should get to the point where it either breaks, which means it probably already hit the pin, and we're probably done. I'm going to run it through one more time and then go from there. So here's where we're at. After a little bit more work on the bottom with the fishing line, I grabbed a new section of packing strap and slid it up back through there. It went pretty easily, and now I'm kind of working it around. I think maybe the best way to do this is kind of a combination of these 2 techniques. And as you can see, I've got pretty free movement for most of it. It seems like I've broken most of the adhesive except over here. I think what I'm going to do next is hit this with the hairdryer again, loosen it up, and then I should be able to use this to gently pull it off. Again, don't pull too hard, because you start kind of moving the gills around, and I don't want to yank them out and break the clips. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but my point was kind of to get this off without removing the gills, either on purpose or accidentally. So we're going to go ahead and give that a shot, hit it with some heat, and hopefully it'll pop off then. All right, we've heated it up for a couple minutes with the hair dryer, and now we're gonna kind of work it around. Oh yeah, there we go. That's kind of the key. That broke through the rest of it. Hey, there we go, success. Oh man, the hair dryer was definitely key to that. And let's take a look at the important stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, no nicks, no runs, no scratches, no errors, thank God. All I gotta do is clean this up with some rubbing alcohol and a rag after I scrape the biggest parts of it off. And we are finished. So, I know this took longer than I wanted it to, even on video, but here's the key, I would say. Heat it up with a hair dryer. Hit it with even stronger fishing line than I did. Use that technique to kind of get the majority of this cut. Then feed that packing strap in, work it around to finish cutting this, and then just go ahead and use that as leverage to pop it off. Again, every time, kind of in between steps, heat it up with that hair dryer, and you should be good to go. So folks, there you have it. Thank you to all the viewers who sent in tips about how to remove the side badge without damaging the car. I know I could not get to all of them, as I mentioned, but there's a couple you can use. I hope that helps. If you found this content valuable, please smash that like button as always. And until next time, friends don't let friends drive boring.